An app had been making the rounds online lately, one that lets you text your future self right before the final paper of the SATs. I decided to jump on the bandwagon and fired off a message. Future me, do I end up marrying Liam Tinsley? The screen flickered and a reply from an unknown number popped up almost instantly. Yes, you had a big, grand wedding. I clutched my phone and typed back fast. And Mia Thompson was my maid of honor, right? She's my best friend. The response came just as quickly. She was, but she wasn't just the maid of honor. She slept with Liam on your wedding night. My smile froze mid-expression. Then a second message hit. Truth is, you didn't need to go through all that trouble tanking your scores just to match his. He bombed the math section on purpose so he could end up in the same city as Mia, who was at the bottom of the class. He pushed you to turn down that top-tier university, not for your sake, but because he didn't want Mia to feel inferior next to your grades. The pre-exam warning bell cut through the air, but I was frozen, my body ice cold, unable to move. One last message slammed into my screen. If you don't believe me, head straight to the motel behind the school after the test. You'll see the truth for yourself. The proctor walked in and told everyone to turn in their phones. I mechanically powered mine down and dropped it into the storage bag on the podium. I made my way back to my seat. The test booklet came down the row, white pages, black print, packed with questions. My mind was completely consumed by those text messages just the night before. Liam Tinsley had held my hand with that earnest look still fresh in my memory. Bree, I completely bombed today's exam. There's no way I'm getting into a top-tier college. Now for the last test, could you just turn in a blank answer sheet? That way you, me, and Mia could all end up at the same community college together. We'd never have to split up. If you stay here with me for college, I swear I'll be devoted to you and only you for the rest of my life. Back then, I was so moved, I'd agreed without a second thought for him. I was ready to give up the college I dreamed of. That text was telling me he'd bombed the math section on purpose for Mia. Mia Thompson was my best friend, petite, soft-spoken, sweet, but her grades were an absolute disaster. Liam was always calling her clueless, saying she was pitiful. Telling me I should look out for her. Had they been sneaking around behind my back all along? The exam has begun. Please keep an eye on the time. The proctor's voice rang out from the front of the room. I snapped back to reality and looked down at my answer sheet. If I left it blank, I'd be giving him exactly what he wanted, staying behind at some community college with him. I tightened my grip on my pen. The tip pressed hard into the paper, leaving a dark blot. If those texts turned out to be fake and I scored high, I could always apologize to him later. But what if they were real? Was I really going to throw away 12 years of blood, sweat, and tears for some cheat who'd been playing me? No. I took a deep breath. My eyes stung, but my hands stopped shaking. I poured every ounce of my ability into that test. My pen flew across the page in a frantic scratch. Every single line I planned to leave empty. I failed it all. I didn't hold back a single point. The final bell rang out across the entire campus. The SATs were over. Outside the exam hall, an explosion of cheers went up. Some kids were tearing up their study guides. Others were hugging and crying. I retrieved my phone. As soon as it powered on, 2 texts popped up. One after another. Liam, babe, how'd it go? You left it blank, right? My mom suddenly dragged me back to my grandma's place out of town. Won't be able to hang with you and Mia tonight. Sorry. XOXO. I'll make it up to you right after that. There was a message from Mia. Mia, Bree. My period hit me out of nowhere and I'm cramping like crazy, so I'm just gonna head home and lie down. Was really looking forward to eating together tonight. Ugh, you two go on your date. Don't worry about me. My grip on the phone tightened. Somewhere inside me, I already knew the answer. If it hadn't been for those text messages, I probably would have sent Mia a sympathy note and ordered her some hot tea. Then told Liam to drive safe. With all the understanding in the world, I slipped past the crowds of celebrating students, walked out the school gates alone, and broke into a run toward the street behind the campus. The wind whipped past my ears. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it might tear through my ribs. I had to see for myself. The hallway of the budget motel reeked of cheap air freshener. The worn carpet squished under my feet, soft and unsettling. Following the check-in records, I stopped outside the room. My chest heaved and from inside I could hear voices. Liam, easy, Mia's voice came through, soft, dripping with a sweetness I'd never heard from her before. Then came Liam's heavy, ragged breathing. I stood there in the hallway and it felt like every drop of blood in my body had frozen solid. The noise from inside grew louder. The bed frame creaked under the strain. Groaning like it was about to give out. Mia let out a breathy little laugh. Liam, Bree turned in a blank test for you today. Doesn't this feel a little wrong? Liam chuckled softly. She's the one I'll marry. I can't live without her. She's too innocent, like a plank of wood. She blushes just from a kiss. Nothing like you. You actually know how to let go. Mia giggled. Then why'd you make her give up Stanford University just to stay here with you? That's different. Liam's voice carried a flicker of hesitation. She loves me that much, she can't function without me. I have to keep an eye on her. You're terrible. You only love my body, don't you? My heart's yours, too. I dug my nails into my palms so hard they broke skin. The pain was the only thing keeping me grounded. Liam's voice was low and hoarse with urgency and desire, and suddenly he felt like a complete stranger. Growing up, he'd always been a little older than me, but everywhere I went, he followed. The adults used to tease him, calling him my kept boy. And he'd always grin and fire back, you bet Bree's going to be my wife someday. So for the first half of my life, nearly every milestone came with Liam by my side, until high school, when Mia entered the picture and she and Liam couldn't stop butting heads. Mia couldn't stand to see me upset every time Liam showed up. They'd be at each other's throats, chasing and bickering like it was World War III. I always ended up in the middle playing peacemaker, pleading with both of them because they were the two most important people in my life. Eventually, the three of us became inseparable. Even though they still clashed like oil and water the moment they were in the same room, always circling around me with their petty fights. I genuinely believed those were the happiest days of my life. At my coming-of-age ceremony, I officially said yes to Liam's confession. We promised to go to the same college together. Our friends teased us until both our faces burned red. Everything felt impossibly perfect. Around that same time, Mia's mood took a nosedive. She seemed drained, hollow. I was so worried, I stayed by her side constantly, even neglecting Liam in those early weeks of our relationship. I realized I'd missed every single one of Mia's forced smiles. My thoughts snapped back to the present. My chest felt so tight I could barely breathe. I turned and walked away without a sound. The moment I stepped out of the motel, the sunlight hit me so hard I had to squint. I didn't shed a single tear. From this day forward, the Bree who would have thrown away her entire future for Liam, she was dead. When I got home, I walked into the bathroom, turned on the shower and let the cold water blast my face. Then my phone buzzed on the sink. It was another text from that unknown number. If you hadn't gone to that motel today, if you'd never found out the truth, then 7 years from today would be your wedding night. I dried my hands and stared at the screen. That night, you booked out the biggest hotel in the city. But right before the ceremony was over, Liam got a call. Mia had overdosed on sleeping pills. She was being rushed to the hospital to get her stomach pumped. Liam went berserk. He shoved you aside without even hearing the vows through and tore out of there, straight to the ER. The text unfolded like a curse, one sentence at a time before my eyes. He left you alone in the bridal suite, still in your gown, while you became the laughingstock of the entire city's social circle. That whole night, he stayed by Mia's hospital bed. When she woke up crying that she didn't want to live anymore, Liam lost his mind with guilt. In a cheap motel right next to the hospital, they slept together. When you confronted him afterward, he had the nerve to say, "Bree, you're my wife now. You have everything that comes with that title. Mia has nothing. She only has me." I just felt sorry for her. Can you stop being so petty about it? Reading those words on the screen, I felt a suffocating, twisting pain in my chest. Enough. It was finally truly enough. Liam kept texting me, begging me to follow through on the graduation trip to the mountains we promised each other. "Bree, we're about to start college. This is our first real trip as adults." His voice in the voice message was warm and full of anticipation. "I've got it all planned out. We'll see the lake, drive the scenic highway, take so many beautiful pictures of you." A bitter ache spread through my chest. I texted back a single, flat, "Okay." This relationship needed to end one way or another. I dragged my suitcase to the airport terminal right on time. From a distance, I spotted Liam and next to him, Mia, wearing a little floral sundress. When Mia saw me, she bounded over and looped her arm through mine like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Bree, you're here," Liam said. "The more the merrier." So he invited me along. "You don't mind, do you?" I pulled my arm free and looked at them both with a blank face. "I don't mind. Let's go check in." At the self-service kiosk, Liam pulled out his ID and printed 2 boarding passes, one for him, one for Mia. I stood to the side watching the screen flash. No booking information found for this passenger. I turned to Liam. "Where's my ticket?" I asked, my voice even. Liam smacked his forehead and shot Mia a frustrated look. "Mia, I told you the day before yesterday to send Bree's info to the travel agent and book all 3 together. You didn't." Mia planted her hands on her hips and fired back with faux outrage. "Oh, so now it's my fault, Liam? I told you Bree always books first class when she travels. I didn't want to overstep and put her in economy without asking." "What nonsense." Liam snapped at Mia, then turned to me with that helpless look plastered across his face. "Bree, we're about to go through security now and canceling the tickets would cost way too much in fees." He let out a sigh and reached for my suitcase. "Look up the next flight to the mountains on your phone right now and grab a ticket." Mia and I will fly ahead, get to the hotel and have the room ready for you. Sound good? Watching his performance, I found it so absurd that I didn't even have the energy to be angry anymore. I pulled my suitcase back out of his reach and said 2 cold words. Liam blinked. What do you mean, don't bother? The boarding announcement crackled over the intercom. Liam started fidgeting, glancing between the gate and me. Bree, don't be like this. Come on, be a good girl. Just book the next flight. I'll buy you ice cream when you get there, I promise. With that, terrified of missing the plane, he grabbed Mia's wrist. Mia, come on, we're going to be late. Mia glanced back at me, a flash of hidden triumph in her eyes, though her face wore a mask of regret. I thought I'd do what I always did, stand there crying, feeling wronged, or stubbornly buy the next ticket and chase after them. But I just stood there watching them scramble away from me, practically racing toward the security line and felt absolutely nothing. I turned, walked out of the terminal, hailed a cab and went straight home. Over the next few days, my phone blew up with messages from Liam. At first, accusations. Bree, what is your problem? The next flight landed hours ago. Where are you? Then came the apologies. Baby, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have left you at the airport. Please just come, okay? Even Mia says it's not fun without you. Finally, petulance and anger. Bree, enough is enough. I always have to chase after you. Fine, don't come, but don't come crying to me later. I read every single one. Didn't reply to a single one and put him on mute. The day SAT scores came out and college applications were due, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find Liam standing there with a bouquet of red roses. He shoved the flowers into my arms, a smug smile curling at the corner of his mouth. Bree, you over it yet? I gave you 2 weeks of silence. That should have taught you a lesson. Your score should be good enough for that local community college I sent you. And since you left that test blank for me, I'll be the bigger person and forgive you for acting out like that. Just submit your application already and the 3 of us can stay together. He walked into the living room like he owned the place, chattering away. You have no idea how amazing the mountains were. Too bad you missed it. Mia had such a great time. She said the barbecue there was incredible. She even bought this really pretty dress. Every other word out of his mouth was Mia's name. I stared at his endless yapping mouth and felt nothing but disgust. Liam, I cut him off coldly. Honestly, I think you two are perfect for each other. Liam stopped mid-sentence. Panic flickered across his face. Bree, don't say stuff like that. You're just upset. We're supposed to get married. Then he gave me that disapproving look. And if Mia hears you talking like that, she'll start keeping her distance again and then nobody's happy, really. I held his gaze, each word sharp and deliberate because the distance between you two at that motel the day the SATs ended. It was negative. The moment the words left my mouth, his entire body went rigid. Liam's face drained of color. What motel? His voice cracked. I looked at him quietly. The motel behind Eastview High. Room 308. His fingers trembled. For a split second, he looked like he wanted to deny everything. Then he forced out a laugh. Bree, what are you talking about? Did someone make up lies about me? Lies? I took out my phone and pressed play. The recording wasn't perfect, but the voices were unmistakable. She's the one I'll marry. Nothing like you. She loves me that much. Every word echoed through the living room. Liam's expression collapsed. He lunged toward my phone. Delete it. I stepped back. He froze. Bree, listen to me. It isn't what you think. I laughed for the first time in days. I heard it with my own ears. You cheated on me. You manipulated my future. You wanted me to throw away Stanford so Mia wouldn't feel inferior. You've been lying to me for years. Liam hurriedly shook his head. I never wanted to hurt you. I love you. You don't. You love having someone who would sacrifice everything for you. Silence filled the room. At that moment, the front door opened. My parents returned home carrying grocery bags. Seeing Liam, my father smiled. Liam, you're here. Then he noticed my expression. What happened? Before Liam could speak, I handed my father the phone. Listen. The recording played again. My father's face darkened. My mother covered her mouth. When it ended, the room fell deathly silent. My father walked over to Liam. Without saying a word. Slap. The bouquet fell onto the floor. Get out. Liam stared in disbelief. Uncle. I said get out. You don't deserve to step foot in this house again. Liam desperately looked toward my mother. Auntie, please explain to Bree. My mother interrupted him. You've known her since kindergarten. We treated you like family. And this is how you repay her? Tears welled in Liam's eyes. I was confused. I never meant for things to become like this. My father pointed toward the door. If you don't leave now, I'll call the police for trespassing. Liam finally turned to me. His voice was almost pleading. Bree. I'll break things off with Mia. I'll never see her again. We can start over. I looked him straight in the eye. You've misunderstood something. I'm not losing you. I'm getting rid of you. His lips trembled. For the first time since we'd met as children, I saw genuine panic on his face. He slowly backed toward the door. Before leaving, he whispered. I'll make you forgive me. The door closed behind him. The house finally became quiet. That afternoon, I logged into the admissions website. My score appeared on the screen. 742 in reading. 760 in writing. 800 in mathematics. Total, 2302. Far above Stanford's previous admission threshold. I submitted my application without hesitation. 10 minutes later, another text came from the unknown number. Good. The future has changed. I immediately typed back. Who are you? This time, the reply took several minutes. Someone who once wished she had made the same choice you just did. Then the number went offline. No matter how many messages I sent afterward, none were delivered. It was as though the person on the other end had disappeared forever. I stared at the blank chat window for a long time. Whoever they were. They had saved my life. A week later, the acceptance letter arrived. I was helping my mother water the plants when the notification popped up on my phone. Congratulations. For a second, I forgot how to breathe. My hand shook so badly that I nearly dropped the phone. My mother saw my expression and hurried over. Bree? What happened? I turned the screen toward her. She read the words once, then again, and suddenly burst into tears. You got in, she whispered. You really got in. My father came running from the garage, thinking something terrible had happened. When he learned the truth, he laughed so hard he had to sit down on the front steps. That night, my grandmother cooked a huge dinner. For the first time in a long time, our house was filled with nothing but joy. The next morning, the news spread through school. Students crowded around me in the hallway. Bree, is it true? You got into Stanford? That's insane. I smiled and answered their questions one by one. Then the crowd suddenly parted. Liam stood at the end of the hallway. He looked exhausted. Dark circles hung beneath his eyes, and his uniform was wrinkled like he hadn't slept. He walked toward me. Can we talk? The hallway grew quiet. I nodded once and followed him to the empty courtyard behind the library. For a while, neither of us spoke. Finally, he said, You applied anyway. Yes. You were supposed to stay with me. I almost laughed. Was I? Liam clenched his fists. I know I messed up. I know what happened with Mia was wrong. But I can fix this. We've known each other our whole lives, Bree. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It used to. He stared at me. So that's it? You're just throwing everything away? I met his gaze calmly. No, Liam. I'm finally choosing myself. The words hit him like a blow. You can't just erase me from your life. Watch me. I turned to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. Bree, please. Before I could pull away, another voice cut through the courtyard. Let her go. Mia stood beneath the archway. Liam immediately released me. She walked closer, her face pale. Bree, I need to talk to you. I waited. Mia swallowed hard. I'm sorry. I said nothing. Tears filled her eyes. I was jealous of you from the moment we met. You were beautiful, smart, talented, and everyone loved you. I told myself that if I could take even one thing from you, maybe I'd finally feel like I mattered. She looked at Liam. When he started paying attention to me, I knew it was wrong. But I liked winning. Liam's face twisted. Mia. No, she interrupted. Stop pretending this was all my fault. You chased me first. You told me Bree would forgive anything because she loved you too much to leave. His expression froze. Mia laughed bitterly. And I believed you. The silence that followed was unbearable. Finally, she turned back to me. You don't have to forgive me. I wouldn't forgive me either. Then she walked away. Liam tried to follow her, but stopped after a few steps. For the first time, the two people who had spent years circling around me stood alone with no one left to hide behind. I left them there. Summer passed quickly. I packed my room into cardboard boxes and donated stacks of old notebooks. Every now and then, Liam would send a message. Can we talk? I miss you. Please answer. I never replied. One evening, while organizing my desk, I found the old phone that had received the mysterious messages from the future. The screen was black. No matter how long I held the power button, it wouldn't turn on. I carried it to the electronics recycling bin outside and dropped it in. As it disappeared beneath the pile of broken devices, a strange feeling washed over me. Like saying goodbye to someone. The day I left for college, the airport was crowded and noisy. My parents hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. My grandmother stuffed snacks into my backpack and warned me not to skip meals. I laughed and promised I wouldn't. As I walked toward security, my phone vibrated. An unknown number. I stopped. Boarding soon? My heart skipped. Who is this? A reply came immediately. A friend from 7 years ahead. I stared at the screen. Did things get better? This time, the typing bubble appeared for a long while. Then. Much better. You graduated with honors. You built a career you love. You learned that being loved should never require shrinking yourself. Tears blurred my vision. I typed with trembling fingers. And Liam? The answer arrived. One day, he saw your name on a magazine cover. He sat in his car for an hour and cried. I let out a shaky laugh. And Mia? She finally stopped competing with other people and started living for herself. You never became friends again, but you both survived. The boarding announcement sounded overhead. I took a deep breath. Last question. Who are you really? For several seconds, there was no response. Then the final message appeared. I'm you. The version who stayed. The version who gave up Stanford, married Liam, and spent 7 years trying to convince herself that sacrifice was love. I found this app one night after the divorce. I had one chance to send a message backward. My tears fell onto the screen. Thank you, I typed. The reply came almost instantly. No. Thank you for saving us. The conversation ended. The number vanished from my phone as if it had never existed. I stood there for a long moment, listening to the noise of the airport, the rolling suitcases, the laughter, the boarding calls. Then I wiped my eyes, picked up my bag, and walked toward